So welcome to another one of our primary assemblies. It's great to be with you again, boys and girls. Great to be with you, staff. Thanks for joining us again. Well, this is the last of our series of the parables that Jesus told in the Bible. The stories that he told that had a hidden meaning woven into the stories. It's Monday morning. Hey, so we need to get together with all our props and just see if we've remembered all the stories. I think there's 8 of them, or maybe 7 of them. I've lost track this term. So let's see how we go. I hope you'll be able to remember these. I hope I'm going to be able to remember these. Here we go. So, we've got this one. We had the baseball and the mug, or no, the goblets. That's the proper name for these. Anyone remember? The parable of the 2 sons. Can you remember the 2 sons who had to make a decision whether to help their father or not? One son said, "No, I'm not going to help. I want to go and play with my mates, play baseball," or whatever they played then at those times in the Bible times. Probably not baseball. And then he changed his mind and thought, "Yeah, I better go and help." And the other son who said, "Yeah, I'm up for this, Dad. No problem, I'll help you." And then he went back to bed. Yes. How different the 2 sons were, but in the end, making the right choices, and that's what they realised they need to do the right thing, and we need to do the right thing. Yes, make the right choice, and stick to our guns, stick to what we've decided. Oh, what else have we got in here? Lots of stuff. Oh, what's in here? We've got, oh yes, what was this one? Yes, oh, I've got 2 different stories here. We had the, what's this one? We had some plasters. Oh, actually I've got two here mixed up with plasters, and we had something else. Oh yes, what was this one? The parable of, what was this one? Ooh. Well, it was the Good Samaritan, or the kind stranger. Yes, I couldn't even remember it myself a couple of weeks ago. The kind stranger. The man who went and helped someone who was really in need. And we've reminded ourselves of that story by the things we can do to help when someone's in need. Maybe hand them a plaster if you can, help them with some first aid, or maybe ring an ambulance if necessary. Wow, what an important job. Or even maybe make them a drink, like a cup of tea. Obviously be careful with hot water. Yes, the little things that we can do to help. I wonder who you can help in school today. I wonder which member of staff you can just be kind and helpful to. It's great to be helpful. What else we got in here? Oh yes, we've got, yes, the bag of money and the little toy pig. What's that story? That was the lost son. Yeah, the parable of the lost son. When the young son said, "I want my money, Father, and I want it now." Ooh, I hope he never said that. "I want it now." Got really impatient. And he ended up working, feeding pigs. And then he was so hungry, he nearly ate the pig's food. Ugh. Yes, that's the story. And it reminds us about being patient and not just wanting things for ourselves. I want it now. It's a dangerous phrase, I want it now. Sometimes, and often, we have to be patient, don't we? Patient for the good things in life. And they'll come if we're patient. That's a challenge, actually. And that links to today's story. Well, let's have a look. What else have we got? Oh, yes, we've got the plastic vine. The plastic vine, yes. And what else have we got? The plastic vine. Oh, yes, we've got the seed. And you remember which type of seeds these are? They are from a mustard plant. Yes, really small seeds. They're going everywhere, actually. They're literally scattering out this box. Yes, the mustard seeds. About being good seeds, wasn't it? It was the parable of the farmer who sowed seeds, didn't he? He sowed seeds, or she, into the soil and hoped they would grow into amazing crops. And the story that Jesus told reminded us all to be good soil. So when we learn things, when we understand new things, help those thoughts and help those understandings to grow in our lives. So when we understand that we need to be kind to others and love each other and do good things for each other, then let's put them into practice. Let's be good soil so we grow into all the people we're meant to be. Grow into the people you're meant to be and the person I'm meant to be. Yes. What else have we got here? Oh, got two more. What's this? Oh, yes. We had the story of... what was this one? The parable of... everybody gets the same. Can you remember when the farmer went out to get some hired workers, and he went at the beginning of the day and got some people, and they worked all day, and he promised to pay them £50. And then the people that turned up right at the end of the day, wait for it, to the end of the day, they came maybe at 4 o'clock or maybe even 5 o'clock, just did an hour's work, but he still promised to pay them £50. Wow. That seems strange to us, doesn't it? It's not fair. Ooh. And if any of you ever use that phrase, I have, it's not fair. We get really crossed out when things aren't fair. And those workers thought it wasn't fair. But God loves all of us the same. And you might think, hey, but what about them? They're bad. Hey, that's not fair. They're really bad. God can't love them. But he can, because he does. He chooses to love all of us the same. What an amazing story. Okay. And what else? Last week we sent out, it was the parable of the Good Shepherd. I don't think I put in an object. I don't think I put in an object. I think the Good Shepherd has lost his sheep again. No, he hasn't. We're reminding our story of the Good Shepherd who always looks after his sheep, goes off and finds his sheep. We haven't got anything in the bag because it's not here. It's gone. Maybe we need to look for it again. Yes, where is it? Where is that object? The parable of the Good Shepherd, when the shepherd will always go look for the missing sheep. Like God will always look after us and look for us. We can't go far, because God will always bring us back in, always call us back to himself. We just need to listen for his voice and follow him. He always wants us to stay close. And when we do, when we come back to him, he'll always welcome us back. Like the Good Shepherd looks after his sheep, he cares for his sheep. Number 1 is as important as number 99. They're all important to God. Yes. Well, last week or the week before, what was this story about? What was this story about? In here, we've got some coins. And, what is it? And we've got some more money. Wow. And a treasure chest. And some small coins. Yes, it was the parable of the unforgiving servant. The servant that owed his master loads of money. Yes, the unforgiving servant. The servant who had been given forgiveness, the gift of forgiveness by his master. He owed his master loads of money and he couldn't pay it back. And he was desperate and said, I'm so sorry, I can't give you back what I owe you. And his master said, it's okay, I'll let you off. It's completely wiped. You can start again. You're free of all that debt you owe me. Wow, what a kind act. But then after he's been forgiven, he goes and finds one of his friends who owes him a few small coins. Yes. And what does he do? What does he say to his friend who owes him a few small coins? He says, I want my money back. Give us it back. Give me back the few small coins. Well, when the first master hears about that, he throws him in jail. He says, how unkind. I forgave you, but you wouldn't forgive someone else who owed you a few coins. What a story of forgiveness, how we need to be forgiving. It's a challenge to all of us to forgive one another, isn't it? When someone upsets us or says something or does something that annoys us, that we can say, it's okay, I forgive you. What powerful words. Wow. Well, today's story, we're going to put in this object. And you're going to be thinking, why? We're going to put in a box full of marbles. A box full of these amazing things. Marbles, glass marbles. Well, you'd be wondering why, and you're right to wonder. Let's enjoy the story now. It's called The Rich Fool. See you later.
A long time ago, in a land far away, there lived a rich man who did nothing all day, but to think and to worry, to hope and to plan some way of becoming a wealthier man. From his house to his fields each day he would walk, to look at his crops, every leaf, every stalk. Then he'd climb to the top of his great storage bin, where he'd kept all his grain, and he'd sit there and grin.
I have so many bins and so much land. Life is just great. Life is just grand.
A few hungry birds in the skies overhead saw the big bin of grain, and downward they sped. But when the rich man saw them eating his grain, he screamed and he kicked and he waved his big cane.
You can't have what's mine. Get away from my bins or I'll hit you so hard your heads will spin.
Then a poor man started to pick up some wheat, for his wife and his children had nothing to eat.
Stop it, you thief!
Cried the rich man alarmed, and the poor man went running for fear he'd be harmed. The rich man saw all the wheat that was spilt. A new place for grain would have to be built.
I'll tear down the old bin,
he said gleefully,
and build bigger bins. How grand they will be.
His slaves worked hard, his slaves worked long, to make the new bins big and strong. The master from his platform high surveyed their work with watchful eye. And when the job was finally done, the night had come, gone was the sun. He hurried home full of pride, as full as the bins with his grain inside.
I really am a remarkable guy, and my riches will last till the day I die.
With a yawn and a stretch, he turned to his bed.
I'll think of the future tomorrow,
he said. Then looking once more at each wonderful bin, he drew up the covers and tucked himself in.
Someday, not now, I'll start anew and live as God would want me to. But first things first, myself I'll please and live my life in wealth and ease.
But that very night, he dies in his sleep.
Ugh!
With no one to mourn him and no one to weep. The man had been selfish with all of his wheat. He'd offered no grain for the hungry to eat. Because selfishness, me first, was his rule. He's not called the rich man, he's called the rich fool.
I've always collected things, different things as I was growing up. I don't know if you collect things. What are the things you collect? Well, I can remember collecting model cars like these, and they were really important to me to collect them. I wonder, what are the things that you collect? Maybe, what are the things you collect? I bet you're thinking now, well, I'm collecting these at the moment and they're really important to me. And one day I'd like to collect these or that or the other. Well, in our story, there was the rich fool. He didn't call himself the rich fool. He just thought it was more important to collect as much as he could of his crops. And the more he had, the better he felt about himself. Or that's what he thought. He thought, well, I've not got enough. I'm going to build bigger barns to collect more and more grain in. And then I'll be happy. I'll be happier. The more I have, the happier I will be. Well, he thought anyway. I wonder if he might have collected top trumps. But he didn't. He didn't collect top trumps. He collected grain. If you collect things, you can sometimes think the more you have, the better you will be. You see, like I've got here lots and lots of predators, because I've got top trump predators here. This is what I've got. I've got the tawny owl. I've got the American alligator. Pretty impressive. Killer rating 6. But I've got the polar bear. The polar bear. Killer rating 2. Oh, that's even more of a predator. What about this one? The panther. Killer rating 4. The sparrowhawk. Killer rating 5. Well, they're all sorts of predators. And we can collect all sorts of things. Even top trumps. I wonder how many packs of top trumps you have at home. I only have the one. It's the predator copy. Well, you see, we collect all sorts of things. Like marbles. When I was a little boy, and I'm talking when I was perhaps 7 or 6, I used to collect marbles like this. The thing is, some of the marbles were really hard to get because they were bigger than the others. And I remember having marbles that were chrome, that were like ball bearings, that were really massive. I used to think, oh, it was great. One day I will have this one or that one. And we used to trade them at school with our friends. I know it seems strange now. Marbles, yeah, we did. There were all sorts of crazes. And for a little while when I was a little boy, marbles were really cool. Can you believe it? Little glass balls were really, really cool. They weren't football stickers. It wasn't that or the other. Whatever it is now. I don't know what it is now because I'm out of touch with what you collect at school. But they were marbles. That was the big thing at the moment. Many, many years ago. I know. Mad, isn't it? Yes. Well, I used to dream about marbles. One day I would try and get hold of a particular marble, and it was a white marble that had speckles in it, and we all were looking for this particular marble. And one day one of my friends brought one in. I'm like, will you take this one for that amazing speckled glass marble? And my friend said, no, I don't want your marble, I want my marble. I said, well, go on, have this one. It's so cool, it's so shiny, it's so marbly. And my friend said, no, I'm going to keep my marble. So sometimes I couldn't trade marbles because his marble was more precious than my marble. Well, we all collect things, don't we? And in our story, the rich fool collected crops, collected grain, and he wanted the most he could get in his barns. And then he wanted bigger barns to collect more because he thought that would make him happy. Well, was he right? Was he happy the more he had? No. He was never happy because he always wanted more to make him happy. And then he got more, and then he found he wasn't happy enough. He needed more to make him happy. It was like a circle that went on and on and on. And then one day, sadly, he died. Was he happy? No. He was never really happy, never really satisfied with what he had. It's a real challenge for us, isn't it, as people, to be satisfied, to be happy with what we have, not always wanting more or more or more. Just like when I'm collecting marbles. I had loads of marbles, but when I was 7 years old, I always wanted one more special marble that I didn't have. When I actually had loads of marbles, and I should have been happy with that. So, it's a challenge in this story for us to remember to be happy with what we have, to be satisfied, to enjoy what we have. You see, with marbles, the best thing about playing with marbles is hanging out with your mates, playing a game of marbles, and you have to roll these and try and hit the other person's marble. Now, that was more important than collecting them. Marbles was a game to be played. Top Trumps is a game to play with your friends. It's not a game just to have a load of cards in a cupboard. There's nothing about that, is there? Really very exciting about having boxes and boxes of Top Trumps. The thing about these games is they're meant to be played. They're meant to be played with your friends. And that's the fun of it. That's what makes you happy. Life is to play. Life is to be enjoyed with others, isn't it? Not to be enjoy just on our own. It doesn't work like that. Life's better when we're together. So, let's remember that today. The rich fool thought he'd be happier on his own, just having more and more and more. And he realised it wasn't happy that way. He wasn't happy that way. Happiness doesn't come by having more. Happiness comes from sharing and having fun together with our friends and with each other. So, let me pray for you, and let's remember the story today about sharing what we have and enjoying what we have and not wanting more. Let me pray for you now. Lord, thank you for the story of the rich fool. Help us to remember the important lesson of enjoying what we have, being grateful for what we have, being thankful for what we have, not just wanting more, but sharing what we have and enjoying life together, enjoying what we have together with others and sharing it, sharing the joy, sharing the love, sharing the happiness of what we have together. Help us now. Amen. Well, we've just recorded 3 new assemblies ready for the run-up to Christmas. Looking forward to showing you those and sharing those with you next week and the weeks after. See you soon, boys and girls. Have a great week. Bye.